there's also a hand, but I'll show you need it. So, I'd like to talk this morning about our practice and some seasonal applicability for that. Some of you may have heard me talk before about our practice of our actual practice rather than the practice that we think we're doing. In the Buddhist tradition, we refer to the formal exercises that we do as our practice, and with good reason. Buddhism is quite literally a practical tradition in the sense that it has to be practiced. It cannot be done for us. Our journey of waking up is something we can do with other people, but we cannot do it for other people. We can simply accompany each other along the way and assist each other as best we can. And waking up is a continual practice, a continual effort, like our efforts to stay alive by breathing, by eating, drinking, by sleeping, all of which we have to do for ourselves. Nobody can do these things for us. In our Buddhist practice, we tend to think of our formal exercises, our meditation, our sutra study, our chanting, whatever our particular practice or practices may be. We think of those as what we're doing toward our efforts of awakening. But just as important and largely invisible to us, unless we pay attention, are all of the things that we are practicing that may help that, but very often hinder our own efforts to awaken. Whatever we do more than a couple of times, we are practicing, whether we think of it as our practice or not. As an example, when we pull our laundry out of the laundry machine and set it in the chair or on the bed rather than folding it and putting it away, and then we keep walking by it instead of folding it and putting it away, we're practicing not putting away the laundry. We don't think of it that way, but sooner or later that becomes the normal. Instead of folding the laundry and putting it away, the routine turns into leaving it on the chair, pulling it off the chair as we need it until the chair's empty and we have to do laundry again. And then we repeat. And we have this nice empty dresser or closet that we still think of as where our clothes go. We practice similarly. Whatever it is that we're thinking is our practice. Whatever we spend the most time thinking is our practice. So when we are having thoughts of anger or of sorrow, thoughts of joy or of peace, whichever of those we're practicing the most is our practice and is determining what we do. As any martial artist could tell you, what we spend the most time, or what we do when we don't have time to think is whatever we've spent the most time practicing. And so martial artists practice doing the same movement over and over and over again, so that when a fist is flying toward their face, they don't even have to think. They instinctively do what they've been practicing to be able to deal with that very situation. We are the same when we practice anger or having resentful thoughts. Then when something happens and we go to respond without thinking, we're going to respond out of anger or resentment, most likely because that's what we spent the most time practicing. When somebody cuts us off in line or in traffic, that's how we're likely to respond. When we practice thoughts of kindness, of joyfulness, and then when something unexpected happens and we respond without time to think, then that is what we're likely to respond out of. It helps to have active practices of positive thoughts, positive states, things like kindness, generosity, forgiveness. rather than simply thinking, I need to work on being a kinder or more generous person. We really need to spend time practicing having kind thoughts by reciting, for instance, the metta formula. May you be well, may you be happy, may you know love, may you know peace. This is an active practice that is working to retrain our thoughts so that our habitual thinking is to wish people well, to wish others love and peace, so that when we don't have time and they cut us off in traffic, we're more likely to respond out of that than we are out of anger. This time of the year has long been my favorite, not just for the longer nights, which I find restful and I find helpful and restoring, but also for the traditional holiday celebrations across many traditions in the United States and many Northern European. Of course, the Christmas season is the predominant expression of that. But here in the States, I find that the month or so between the Thanksgiving holiday and Christmas and the end of the calendar year is a time of noticeable greater goodwill and cheer and joy in society at large. Approaching Christmas, like every other time of the year, there's all kinds of complex aspects to it, but as a general rule, it seems to be a time of joy and generosity. Our entertainment and our stories are filled with stories of people being inspired to be kinder, to be more generous during this time of year. And as Tai Kozen said, our food banks see more donations this time of year. In fact, I know somebody who used to be the executive director of a food bank, and they said that the leanest time of the year for food donations is actually the summer, because it doesn't occur to people as much to keep contributing throughout the year or during that time. People's attention is focused in the winter months when absolutely it is still needed, but rather than carrying that forward, rather than parsing that out over the year, we tend to do it in a big spurt, give all of our generosity and kindness at this time, and it slowly tapers off as we move through the year. And so bringing these two tracks together, the idea of practicing kindness, of practicing generosity, gets a big boost this time of year when it seems for many of us to be easier because our general culture and society is supporting that, encouraging that, and reinforcing that. And what we need to train ourselves to do is not think of this as the most wonderful time of the year, as the song goes, or the most generous or the most kind time of the year as a one-off thing, as I can't wait till the most wonderful time of the year, and then as soon as the new year rolls around, oh my goodness, it's 11 more months till the holidays. But rather to take this most wonderful, most generous, most kind effort and continue to practice that throughout the year. Use this as we use our time sitting in meditation, as we use our time in retreat, not as a Band-Aid to fix all of our problems, but as a recharge so that we can take whatever it is that we succeed in cultivating during that time out into the rest of our lives and out into the rest of the year. And with our meditation, if we can only achieve a stillness and a peace of mind on the cushion, while that's still a good thing, it's not especially useful for the rest of our lives where we're not on the cushion or in a quiet, peaceful place. And the goal is to be able to practice this to build up our batteries, so to speak, so that we can carry it out into the rest of our lives. And to take that practice and apply the same thing during this holiday season, this season of joy and generosity. Use this not as a time to empty all your generosity out for the year, but as a time to practice building it up and sharing it all throughout the year. And so that's what I wanted to say today. Thank you, everybody, for your kind and generous nature and for your beautiful faces and smiles. It's a joy to see you all. I'd like to lead us into meditation, if I could. Please find a good, stable posture that's comfortable that you can maintain for the duration.